youth, arts, culture, Spectrum. Right now on TRAXXfm.
Good morning. Welcome to this week's edition of Spectrum on TRAXXfm. Happy Tuesday to you. Just a time and date stamp here. 25th January is the date. How are you doing? Of course, in the year 2022 as we move on into the year itself. Yeah. Meanwhile, regular programming right here on the Tuesday edition of Momentum. It is Spectrum on TRAXXfm. This time zooming into the topic, of course, of youth in theatre. Right now, if you feel inspired by the end of the segment, or maybe you've got some interest in this particular field, maybe you want to be a performer yourself, well, you're in luck, because in today's segment, I'll be speaking to my two youthful young guests, right? So maybe I'll find out about their ages as well, right? Just so we can get a fundamentals towards today's discussion as well as if you are tuning in right now and if you're inspired to be a performing artist. Now, what does it take to get started? Well, we're going to find out from our guests today. Amaliyna, Helmi, as well as Danniel, Iskandar. Right, good morning.
Hello,
morning.
Good morning.
Hi, thanks for coming in, and we're going to have a chit-chat today. Right? Meanwhile, just a quick little seg that if you'd like to join us visually, we are live on Facebook now at TRAXXfm Official, right? And this is your best way to get interactive with both Amaliyna as well as Danniel, right? If you have a comment, question, anything that you want to express, well, join us on our Facebook feed right now as we get started more into the segment today, yeah? So I hope you guys excited, not just about the show, but of course about the segment today. Lots to talk about. But first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, Amaliyna, it says here you grew up as an introvert, but now, of course, you're expressing yourself not through just only your writing and all that, but throughout. As you're grown up since your childhood into where you are now, you started to be more expressive, isn't it? With more different creative outlets and so on. So I understand this is going to be a first venture into the world of theatre.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
So that's exciting, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, wonderful. So Danniel, on the other hand, has a slightly different sort of a background, right? You're quite a digital marketer, and that's sort of like, where your fundamental, I guess your fundamental career is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's what I do to pay the bills.
Okay, and at the same time, of course, you're exploring all your hobbies, not just as a performer, theatre performer that is, but also as all sorts lah.
Yeah.
Right, so I've been in those shoes before, so I know what it takes, even though my main profession was not digital marketing per se. So it's good to have you both here. So just to kick things off, so you guys are getting started with a production here, and basically a part of what is known as T4YP, Theatre for Young People. Let's talk about that first, right? What is Theatre for Young People, and what is your experience with the project?
Okay.
Go ahead, Danniel.
From our perspective, I feel like Theatre for Young People is basically an experience provided by KLPAC, enabled by Creator Foundation, to allow young people to experience their hobbies and give it a try. For people like me especially, because I'll be honest with you, I actually don't know my passions, and I don't know I don't know what I want to do with my life, essentially. So I took Theatre for Young People as an opportunity for myself to figure out if this is something that I want to do, and to see if this is something that I want to potentially pursue as a career. But I don't know, what are your experiences with T4YP, Amal?
For me, as mentioned, like, it's my first venture into theatre. So yeah, through T4IP, I've explored various facets of theatre. I've learned that theatre is not just about acting; it's about voice work, it's about body work, and it's been a journey of personal growth for me as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah, because I've really grown from being someone who's more introverted to someone who's more expressive, as you say.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So it's an interesting, I think, project altogether, because Danniel was saying, rightfully so, you're still really trying to find, what is it that you really want to focus in on. We all know that at your particular point of your lives, it's always the concerns about, like, can I make this work? Am I getting, on the side as well, it's nice to have the support of the people that your loved ones, your family and so on, but sometimes you may not. Right, there's different circumstances. So I think it's a wonderful a platform, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And have you seen anything else within that, within your colleagues, your friends, and all that, who are also in the same boat, or maybe some of them are really clear about the fact that they're going to pursue this, right? Well, what's your brief experiences so far with that?
I think most of us can agree that this is something we do want to do in the long term. Maybe perhaps not as a career, but something that we can do on the side.
Right.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I think all of us have a similar passion towards the arts.
Okay, wonderful, right? Anything else, any other insight to add on to this, Danniel?
We actually do have one of our batchmates who actually believes that this is something that he wants to pursue as a career, but he lacks the support, and he's doing a corporate job to finance himself. So we really hope it's people like him and ourselves as well that we can have the opportunity to pursue this more than just a side thing, but rather as something that can really fulfill our souls as well as we continue on with our lives.
Okay, but I think it's wonderful that it gives you that exploratory space.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? And at the same time, of course, get into the action as well. So that's the exciting part, right? So you guys are preparing for something that is called the Emperor's New Clothes, or how the procession has got to go on. Okay, this is very interesting because it's going to be Theatre for Young People's final showcase.
That's right.
It's a bit of a graduation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, nice. So, in short, this piece tells a story about 6 young members of a family, right, attempting to stage Hans Christian Andersen's The Emperor's New Clothes, the very, very famous fable, right?
Yep.
But this is about the behind the scenes of the staging of some version of it. Is that right?
Yeah, so what we're aiming to do is basically take this children's story, something that everyone is very familiar with, and sort of look deeper into really excavate like the themes and messages in the story. And I suppose essentially exploring exactly how children's stories are essential in our lives. Yeah, so
Right, they all have a basic but deep meaning behind them.
Yes. Yeah.
Right, essentially. So, wow, this is going to be a different. Because we're going to find out more about this particular staging. But share with us, how has the process been for the both of you so far? Can you tell us more about the practice, the training, and also the rehearsals? Because I understand that you guys have been attached to T4YP, or maybe even this particular staging, for quite a while now, on and off, due to the wonderful quote unquote pandemic we've had experience. Yeah. So what's your experience so far?
Well, obviously there's it goes without saying that there's the rehearsals and how we're going to stage it and the blocking and such, but it goes so much deeper than that, because our director actually encourages us to play, and that means experimenting and being okay with failing as we go along, because he feels like it's important that we're not trying to aim for perfection, but rather aim for, see what works and what doesn't, so that we can see how better we can all collaborate with each other and find that spark that will enable us to, really make that piece come alive, and not just do it for the sake of performance, but do it because it's how we feel as we're performing.
Nice. Anything to add, Amaliyna?
I think what has been, I suppose, challenging for each of us as well is the fact that we have to bring so much of ourselves into the piece.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of like self-exploration as well, asking questions about not only the self but how we relate to the world, and sort of connecting back to the work.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, wonderful opportunity once again. And I understand many people were in your shoes back a couple of years, like 2020. And of course, also having undergone, I understand you have to do things online, just like any other profession or industry or endeavor overall, isn't it? What was that like? And share with us some of the challenges, some of the things that you've experienced. What did you like about it, and so on?
Okay. Well, to be honest, since we auditioned in 2020, and in the fact that it's gone on up until now, I seriously just want to thank Creator Foundation for really enabling this to go on, because it's been it's like around 2 years already. But yeah, it's been for some of us it's been challenging going online, because we felt like theatre is meant to be done physically, because you can feel the energy, and it's a lot of physical work. But at the same time, we realized this could be a blessing in disguise, because the lessons that we did online weren't fully theatre. We did more on text work and more on script writing, so this was more feasible online. But it also helped us ease into it, and help us get used to theatre before we really dive deep into the physical work that we've done before.
Interesting. So it enabled the creative writing project.
Yes,
I mean the creative writing side of things.
Yeah.
And at the same time, give you a little bit more leeway and time there to actually, do that properly. Because sometimes people might, in a way, rush through the script writing process, and then you spend more time on the staging and the rehearsals, right? So, anything to add, Amaliyna?
I think, like what Danniel said, it's the 10 weeks of online classes we had allowed us to sort of dip our toes into the water, so to speak, before actually going into the deep end, which is great. And also, I think the unique thing about our batch is that we have been focusing more on text work as opposed to our previous batches. So for our midterm showcase, we actually did a piece like a staged reading of a play, which is something that I don't think our previous batches did because they were more focused on devised work. Yeah, so our batch is quite unique in that regard.
Yeah, so it kind of, although there was this long drawn out process due to the delays, official, closures and SOPs and whatnot, but it just gave you a different experience. You would not have had otherwise. A similar story with many of the ways our lives have been affected by the pandemic, and a great learning lesson as well if we look at a silver lining, right? Of it all. So we're going to take a very short break now, and then when I come back, more with my two special guests today about their process with theatre for young people, as well as, of course, with the staging of the Emperor's New Clothes, or how the procession has got to go on. More when we come back in a bit, right here on Spectrum on TRAXXfm. Stay tuned.
Enjoy rides and dips in the river with the elephants in Kuala Ganda. TRAXXfm 105.3 Kuantan, Pahang.
Welcome back to TRAXXfm's Trax Momentum Spectrum. I hope you're having a lovely Tuesday so far. It is January the 25th. As we talk to my two special guests here about the experience in theatre, as well as, of course, with a graduation staging that they're going to have as well. So if you'd like to join us on Facebook, we are live now at TRAXXfm Official. If you'd like to say hi to Amaliyna and also Danniel, that's the best way to do so. And if you have a question, comment as well, feel free to type in the comment section. So let's talk about the Emperor's New Clothes, or how the procession has got to go on, right? So I got to pronounce that really carefully. So it's based on basically Hans Christian Andersen's The Emperor's New Clothes, the children's fable. Now, what is it about this production per se that you feel, that's the thing, like, when I get these sort of questions, what's going to surprise people? And then it's like, okay, we can't really tell you, because then it won't be a surprise anymore.
Exactly.
But what can you tell us about what's different about this production?
I think what we can say is that, if you plan on watching, don't expect to be a very passive audience member. Do expect that, this is something we'll expect you to be a little bit more active and participatory.
Nice. Yeah, there's some interaction that's going to go down, right?
Yeah.
In other words. Now, what about you? What about your exact roles? So we haven't really talked about that. What are you playing, Amaliyna? Can you share with us?
Without giving away too much, like, each of us are playing a family, a member of this family of 6. So each of us bring, our different personalities or different backgrounds into creating this very unique family dynamic between the 6 of us.
Ooh, okay. And I'm pretty sure, are we going to get some Malaysian elements in it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I would think so, right? And what's been challenging about this now? This acting part, this performing part for you guys, Danniel?
Well, I think leading back to my answer to the very first question, actually, to tell you the truth, growing up, I didn't have much friends, so I struggled to socialize a little bit. So I feel like my biggest challenge in this play would be not so much the acting in itself, but more of really collaborating constructively with my fellow actors as well. Really learning to listen to them, not verbally, but to their energy and their body language, and really reciprocating that same energy on the play itself as we're acting. So I feel like that would be my biggest challenge.
Wow, interesting, right? And what has the process been like for you, Amaliyna, so far?
For me, I think the process, it involves a lot of spontaneity that I'm personally not used to.
Okay.
I'm a person who's very calculative about things. I tend to like think before I speak, but a lot of the process has been a lot about like just saying the first thing that comes to mind, just doing whatever, and those sort of elements are what makes the piece work.
And I'm so glad you guys have that experience, because it's super important, right? Especially at your very young ages, in perspective to where I am in life. So I think it's wonderful that you guys are getting all of these opportunities. Speaking of which, right, is there going to be a next batch for people who want to be part of theatre for young people? How does that work normally? Walk us through that, right? How do you join? Do you have to audition? What do you think the people behind it, the decision makers are looking for, and so on?
I think what they're looking for are people who are actually self-committed to the work, not doing it for the sake of it, but rather they're doing it because they want to. I feel like the people behind T4IP really care that you care. And when they really appreciate when it shows, things like being really proactively doing the extra work, and showing that, you are dedicated yourself to improving what you want to reap out of the benefits from this program. So I feel like that's what they really appreciate if you do that.
Wonderful. And how does one get involved? Is it like a intake basis and so on? Can you share with us, Amaliyna?
Yeah, it's a yearly intake, so you'll have to go for auditions, and there will be callbacks, and then you'll find out whether you are part of the ensemble for the year.
Okay, nice.
And
yes.
Very important note, if you don't get in 1 year, you can always try again the next year.
Yes.
Something I think we want to share and let everyone know that, don't get discouraged if you don't get in, because it's just a matter of time if you just keep trying again.
That's right, and it's always going to be limited spaces, yeah? So many people want to join the program. Wonderful, right? Now, as for the staging of the Emperor's New Clothes, so how the procession has got to go on, what can you share? So I'm going to test your selling marketing skills a little bit. Why should people go watch?
Okay, I feel like why you should go watch, it's because it will challenge you and your normal notions of how you live your life. Because without giving away too much, I feel like this play will push you to think a little bit critically in regards to how you're living your normal life and whether you want that norm to be the norm. And I feel like, it's not just written in the play itself, which is the Emperor's New Clothes, but also in the segment of how the procession has got to go on, where we will provoke you to think about that a little bit more.
Okay.
So I feel like if you want to give yourself a little bit something to reflect upon on a personal level, I feel like this play would be one potential starting point for you. If you want.
All right. Interesting. What about you? Why should people go watch this?
I think the play employs a lot of theatre techniques that haven't been done before. At least I think in the Malaysian industry. So yeah, it involves hopefully audience participation and a lot of interaction. Yeah, so that's something that you can totally look forward to.
Okay, and would you say that this production would be suitable for all ages? Because the tag, or the performers are part of theatre for young people. What do you say about this aspect?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's relevant to anyone from any walks of life, really. Yeah, the themes in the story itself are very resonant to pretty much everyone.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, and last but not least, of course, I'm not sure how active you guys are on social media, etc., but do share with us some contact points, right? Any updates on social media, maybe on behalf of the organizer as well, where platforms that people generally can refer to. All right, so take it away.
Well, there's definitely the KL Pack Instagram that's all keep constantly posting, not just our shows but their shows as well. That keeps going on, because our show is actually damn smack in the middle between before and after a couple of other shows as well. So if you're looking for theaters to watch and not just ours, there's a whole slew of stuff that you can watch in a row if you're interested.
So check out KL Pack on social media. Amaliyna, any other handles and so on you can share with us?
I think definitely since we're all returning back to the arts now, I think KLPAC has a lot of shows coming up.
Are we allowed to share our own?
Yes, go ahead.
We are.
Of course, your own handles.
Okay. Well, if anyone's listening that's interested in following me, it's at truly NC 7. Follow me for updates on not just the show, but on just thought-provoking stuff.
Okay, nice. Amaliyna, anything to share with us? Are you keeping things private for now?
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, thank you so much for being with us. Any final thoughts you'd like to share with us before we wrap up today's Spectrum? Right, go ahead.
I feel like if you're going to come watch the show, yes, I do expect a little bit of introspection regarding you and your life, but as well, I want to make it a point for you, everyone listening, to realize that this show is not just it doesn't have to be your only catalyst. Like if you're willing to make an important reflection about your life, any day is just as good as any. So I feel like don't wait for an opportunity, but make that opportunity for yourself if you're wanting it for your own good.
Okay, nice. And concluding words from you, Amaliyna, for today.
Yeah, I think for me, I hope anyone who comes to the show comes away with the message that the arts is really a really important thing to have in our lives, as well as the power of storytelling and engaging in that and continuing to tell stories as we go along.
Okay, wonderful. I'm so glad you guys are getting the experience, and of course it's going to be an opportunity to watch a production as well, right? That's going to be a combination of all your hard work in the past few years. I've been speaking to Amaliyna, Helmi, as well as Danniel, Iskandar, both cast members from the Emperor's New Clothes, or How the Procession Has Got to Go On, which is going to be staged in KL Pack. By the way, it is of course part of it is Theatre for Young People's final showcase, which is a program enabled by Creator Foundation ever since 2019. So you can get started and join the program as well. They are open for annual intakes and through the audition process. Concluding the first Spectrum on TRAXXfm. My name is Kong Yu, and if you've been live with us on Facebook, we appreciate your presence there and support there as well. Meanwhile, of course, until the next time, this is a wrap. But of course, it's not a wrap yet for the entire show. I'll be keeping company all the way till 2 p.m. right here on Trax Momentum. So stay tuned.
We will be back next week for more topics, issues, tips, and insights. Spectrum, youth, arts, culture. Only on TRAXXfm.